All right, so I've got my cake done. It's important to work fast on that. If you can't, work fast, I guess I started getting a cramp in my hand. Definitely cover part of the cake with plastic wrap or something so it doesn't dry out until you've finished, because if it's even any bigger than this, or if it's really, really hot in your area or dry, you could dry out your fondant and then it'll start cracking when you do that. That's ugly. So, cover it with plastic wrap so it won't dry until you've finished your smocking. You move from section to section. Or if you're old and you get cramps in your fingers, I had to get the feeling back in my hand after that. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the frill that goes around it. So I'm going to roll the fondant fairly thin. Normally a garret frill will have Tylose in it. So you would add a little Tylose or CMC to your fondant. I didn't do that. If your fondant is really floppy, definitely add the CMC or Tylose because you want the frill to hold its shape. Okay, roll it nice and thin. Nice and thin. Okay. And then we're going to cut it's going to take a couple of these to go around that cake. So I'm going to cut a couple of them out. And yes, you do put the center in this. And I work pretty fast. You don't want them to, you just cut them apart. And then you need a toothpick or a tool that's got a pointy end like this, only I want a smaller one. So let me grab my other tool. I have a smaller stick. It's this, the end of a point paintbrush will work, because anything that's tapered. So a paintbrush, this tool works as well. This tool, anything works. Toothpick, put it in front of you and roll back and forth just once or twice. 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, and then move it. 1, 2, and then move it. You got to make sure it's released from the table. Okay? Now, the harder you press, the more it frills. Notice I've got the pointy end pointing up. Okay, let me do it. I don't think you can see me sideways. Let's see, you don't want it to stick. I'm just going right on that bumpy part. You find it sticking constantly, and then put a little cornstarch down here. It's got to be able to move, or you'll just tear it. Try to keep it in front of you. Keep your hands in front of you. Okay, so you see how nice and pretty frilly that is? What you do now is you're going to straighten it out, and it's going to go underneath this egg. And we'll attach it with some water. When you straighten it out, you get the frills. You get the pretty gathering part, okay? And that's going to hide the ugly part that I didn't, hide before. Okay, the fact that I'm trying to save some money. Okay, so let's do this other one before it dries out. I do a lot of these, so I've had a lot of practice. But they are not hard. When I teach it, my students have it down before they leave class. It does not have a big learning curve. Roll twice, move. Roll twice, move. Roll twice. Okay? All right, so I'm going to put some water down here so that we can attach it. It's just being attached to the board, so it's not a big deal. Just don't want it moving around when, there we go. Okay, let's get the next part of it down. So a little bit of water down here. I'm going to cover up that pencil line and all the nasties from before. Where you join these things together, just take a little tuck under, like so. Pop it in. There's a little room underneath that board. And then you just lift, lift, lift. Okay? Really simple. And it's a frill. It doesn't have to be perfect. That's where the join was. I can roll over that. I can lift it to make it look like it's a frill area, a frilly area. There we go. All right, so it looks like I've got to do 2 more to finish going around.